Most people think the goal is to be debt-free, but many wealthy people stay in debt on purpose, not because they have to, because it actually makes them richer. And once you understand how they structure it, you'll realize debt isn't the problem. Using it the wrong way is. The average person uses debt to consume cars, clothes, things that lose value. Wealthy individuals use debt to control assets, assets that produce income or grow over time. That's the first difference. Instead of using their own cash to buy an asset, they use borrowed money. Why? Because it lets them control something larger without tying up all their capital. That capital stays free, ready to be used again and again and again. So, the goal isn't to own everything outright. It's to control more with less. Now, here's where most people get confused. If they have the money, why not just pay off the debt? Because paying it off stops the system. If their debt costs 5%, but the asset returns 8 to 10%, paying off that debt actually reduces their overall return. So instead, they keep the debt and let the difference work in their favor. You saw this play out during the 2008 financial crisis. A lot of investors were heavily leveraged. They owned massive real estate portfolios using borrowed money. On paper, they looked extremely wealthy, but when the market turned, prices dropped, cash flow slowed, lenders tightened, and suddenly, those same assets became a problem. Not because debt is bad, but because they didn't have enough liquidity to sustain it. This is what separates smart leverage from dangerous leverage. Wealthy investors don't just use debt. They structure it carefully. They look at cash flow versus debt payments, interest rates versus returns, and how much liquidity they have if things go wrong. Because debt only works if you can survive long enough for it to work. At a high level, the strategy is simple. Use debt to acquire assets that produce income. Let the income cover the debt. Then use the remaining cash flow to acquire more assets. It becomes a cycle, not of spending, but of expansion. So, no wealthy people aren't trying to eliminate debt. They're trying to optimize it, because used correctly, debt isn't a burden. It's a tool. The mistake isn't being in debt. The mistake is being in debt without assets, without income, and without a plan. Follow for real financial strategy. This is the exponential prosperity code.